So they pulled slowly and softly. As they drew close, the sound became even louder, and they kept going. Zura was a very beautiful riverine village where the majority of its inhabitants were fishermen and women, while others were petty farmers. Zura had two major markets, the general market, which held every 5 days, and the fish market, which was open every single day as the fishermen and women went fishing every day. Zura was a major supplier of fish around the environs. The fish from Zura were exported to the city for bigger sales and better pay. It was indeed the best and most lucrative business in Zura village. In Zura, there lived two brothers who were fishermen, Jorro, the eldest, and Kaleb, the younger. Jorro was married with 2 kids, while Kaleb was engaged to a beautiful girl named Lila, a kind woman from Zura village. Jorro and his brother Kaleb were the highest suppliers of fish in Zura because of their fishing skills. They fearlessly went to the deepest parts of the ocean to fish, navigating treacherous waters and bringing back a bountiful catch each day. One fateful morning, as the brothers were pulling in their nets heavy with the day's bounty, they heard a soft melodic voice singing a beautiful tune. Intrigued, Kaleb was eager to know where the voice was coming from. But Jorro said, "Do you know where that sound is coming from? What if it's a trap?" Kaleb replied, "What if the person is in trouble? What if the person needs our help?" Kaleb insisted that they go check it out, so they pulled slowly and softly. As they drew close, the sound became even louder, and they kept going. They followed the sound until they stumbled upon a stranded mermaid, a shimmering tail caught in a tangle of seaweed. Moved by compassion, Kaleb offered to help her. The mermaid was afraid, but Kaleb approached the distressed mermaid and carefully freed her. Grateful for their assistance, the mermaid promised to repay their kindness. She couldn't stop thinking about how good-looking Kaleb was. She was already blushing full of love and couldn't wait for the morning to see Kaleb again. The next morning, she went to that same spot and sang in a very beautiful and soft tone, like the other day, hoping they would pass by soon. The brothers drew close to the sound as they went fishing, their usual route. "Listen, the voice sounds like that mermaid you saved yesterday," Jorro said. "Hey, yes, she's the one. Maybe she's waiting for us to appreciate us for yesterday." So they went to her. When they got there, Kaleb couldn't resist the beauty of the mermaid. Their eyes quickly met, gazing directly into each other's eyes, slain with love. Kaleb was speechless. The mermaid said, "I came to say thank you, so I came here thinking perhaps you would pass by as my instincts directed me, and you did pass by. I have brought this gift for you and your elder brother for saving my life." "You didn't have to do that," Jorro said. "It's the least I can do for saving my life," she replied. She handed the gift over to Jorro, the eldest. Kaleb was engrossed with her beauty and speechless, staring at her. "Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Mira." The brothers also introduced themselves. Kaleb whispered in Mira's ear, "Meet me here tomorrow at 4 p.m. She smiled and nodded in agreement. So the brothers left and continued their journey. They had a very great catch that day and made a lot of sales. After selling the fish in the market, Kaleb couldn't stop thinking about Mira. She also was thinking about him all night. And as their meeting time drew near, Mira dressed eagerly to meet Kaleb. Her friends noticed the change in her attitude, always smiling and blushing like someone in love. "Mira, who is he?" one asked. "No one," she said, smiling. "I'll tell you about it when I return." "Return from where?" "I'll tell you everything, I promise. Just wait until I get back." Oh, they agreed. As soon as she arrived there, Kaleb was already approaching the place. She was really excited. They started discussing and playing, and she brought gifts of pearls and all manner of precious stones for Kaleb. He gave her a kiss that sent shivers down her spine. She actually felt it. "When will you take me to see your world?" she asked. Soon you will, don't worry. But how can you walk on your feet since you don't have legs like me? Don't worry about that as long as I don't get myself wet. Really? Then that's fine, Kaleb said. When she returned, her friends were already at her place, waiting to get the full gist of everything that happened. She kept smiling as her heart was beating so fast. I think I'm in love with this person, she said. They asked, please don't shout when I tell you, okay? We won't, they agreed. He's a human. A human girl. How did you do it? I've always wanted to taste a human. Can we see him? Don't worry, you will see him soon, she replied. Days became weeks and weeks months as they saw each other every single day at the usual spot. Each visit was with a gift. Soon, Kaleb stopped fishing. He said to himself, I have too much wealth now. All I need to do is to just continue with Mira, and she'll keep bringing gifts for me. By the time I sell off all the gifts, I'll be a very rich man. So why do I need to go fishing again? One day, Jorro said to Kaleb, be careful, my brother. I'm not sure you really love Mira. You thought you did, but now you're consumed by the gifts and not love. Remember you're engaged. Forget that engagement. I'm talking about Mira, who gives me everything I want. Talking about one stupid engagement. Can't you see that you don't love her but the gifts she shares on you? But Mira loves you so much from the first day, I saw it in her eyes. My brother, be careful. Now, a mermaid you're playing with. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't worry, everything is under control, bro, Kaleb replied. Jorro, witnessing his brother's descent into greed, could no longer watch his brother destroy himself, so he pleaded with him, brother, the gifts may bring temporary joy, but the consequences of your actions may be grave. Remember the harmony we once shared with the ocean, and let not your desires cloud your judgment. Yet Kaleb remained unmoved, blinded by his insatiable appetite for more. The mermaids, growing desperate to win his affection, offered him their most precious possessions. Some days later, Mira got back to their usual spot, and it came as though nothing had happened. They continued their love affair. One day, while swimming through the ocean, Mira saw Kaleb with her friend Rina playing. She was so mad but didn't confront them. When Rina returned, she asked her, what are you doing with my man? You're so wicked, Rina. How can you have such a handsome human all to yourself? I like him too, and you're not going to be the only one selling this ship. Mira was so angry she called all her friends. How many of you are seeing my man? They all admitted, I like him too. I'm having an affair with him. She discovered that all her friends were having an affair with Kaleb. So the battle to be chosen began. They kept showering gifts on him, and he never stopped taking. He kept receiving. The battle struck in the ocean as the mermaids would fight themselves. The once peaceful mermaids became quarrelsome as they fought each other because of Kaleb. Soon, the news got to the queen and ruler of the ocean, and she summoned all the mermaids involved with Kaleb. They all gathered around her as she began to question them one after the other. Mira said, my queen, I met him first. Then I introduced him to my friends, and they took him from me. I thought they were my friends. Mira, I've always known that you have very big eyes. You trust too much, and that's your problem. Sometimes you let your results speak, not you telling people about your process. They'll follow the process and get the result before you. Never share your personal affairs with your friends. You've learned the hard way. But I still love him, Mira said. That's the problem with you, Mira. Does he love you the same? Now listen, all of you, I have always told you to stay away from these humans, that they will destroy you. But you refuse to listen. Though I have come across some really good ones, the majority of them are evil. You're all sisters and daughters of the ocean. How dare you fight yourselves because of a man? How disappointing. Now listen, the man you're fighting and dying to get doesn't love any of you. I'm sure he loves me, Mira said. Did before greed crawled into his heart and overshadowed his sense of reasoning. All he wants is to get gifts from you. Can't you see? Sell them and be wealthy, and then leave all of you by traveling out of the village. They didn't believe the queen, who then brought out a bowl and played before them his conversations with his brother. They saw how Jorro warned him, his plans to make more money from them by receiving gifts, and most of all, the engagement with Lila. They were so furious and decided he must pay for playing with all of them. All the women he had an affair with sought to destroy the entire village, deciding they would never get a single fish from the ocean. But the queen said, I will permit you to do whatever you want to do with him, but leave the village out of it for the sake of the brother who always rebuked and warned him about his actions. Let the village go. Deal with the culprit. Devour him. Do as you please with him. So they decided they would drown him in the ocean and allow him to be eaten by sea beasts. But Mira pleaded with them because she sincerely loved him. She said, he saved my life. I know he did wrong. He is a good man, it's just that he allowed greed to consume him. I would have been dead by now if he didn't risk his own life to save me. Please, my sisters, just for this reason, let him live. So they had compassion on him because of Mira, but they took everything from him and shared them equally amongst themselves. Mira took a portion and gave it to Jorro, her best brother. She said to him, you're a good man. You deserve this and more. You've been by your brother, it's just that he refused to listen. He's a good man too, but I don't know why he allowed greed to come into his heart and destroy his soul. They afflicted Kaleb with an incurable disease, which he struggled with for the rest of his life, and he died as a single man and never had kids because of his greed, and he was never married. The moral of the story is that greed is like a wildfire. It starts gradually without you even knowing, and before you know it, it spreads uncontrollably until it lands you into the trouble of your life. Gehazi in the Bible inherited the curse of leprosy, which affected his entire generation because of greed. Secondly, learn to keep your mouth shut. Allow your results to speak. When you tell people your process, they will get your results. If Mira had kept quiet, no one would have known about Kaleb. Perhaps they would have gotten married. She lost the love of her life because she opened her mouth. Keep your mouth shut.